Welcome to the Next Canon podcast. My name is Danny Ray. You know that. And on this podcast, we are working to recreate and reimagine the theater canon so that it is more like how we want it to be. Hey, you guys, I'm so excited because today we have Danielle Beckmann. Say hi.
Hi. I'm like, do I say hi or do they say hi?
You do say hi. Well, they could probably say hi.
Right?
Danielle uses she, her pronouns, is an actress, producer, filmmaker, and creative coach. Danielle's most recent film she produced and starred in, Liza Anonymous, had its premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York last month. That is so exciting. Woo!
Thank you.
I'm so stoked to have you today. And it's like Danielle's on the double. Like,
yes,
Danielle's everywhere.
Double D's. And let's just keep it at that. I think that's awesome.
I'm so stoked to have you. So tell the people just a little bit about yourself. What was COVID like for you? All of that sort of jazz.
Yeah. So 2020 was a big year. I got married. I moved. Thank you. I moved across the country. And then my movie, my baby, got into my dream festival, Tribeca. So it was a really big year.
That's huge.
And yeah, going through a lot of, big life changes. So I really empathize and resonate with everyone going through like big ups and downs, holding that grief and joy at the same time of figuring life out. But yeah, my husband and I made it. We moved from New York to Los Angeles and here we are. And the sun literally just came out. So I'm good to go.
We love that. Oh my gosh. It's like an omen. It's a good omen. The sun's
yes.
Just like, come on.
Absolutely.
So what's your relationship to theater and all other forms of like entertainment media?
So although I'm more in the film space now, I grew up doing theater since I was 3 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I did musical theater my whole life. By the time I think I was like 12, I had been in like 18 musical productions already. So I grew up, I like lived, breathed, slept, ate the theater.
Yeah.
And then I got my BFA in theater performance at Chapman University. That's actually where I met our mutual friend, Annalie Hoganza.
Yes.
And I also met, the actor writer Leah McKendrick there, and she ended up writing Liza Anonymous for me.
Awesome.
So Chapman was a really great place to form amazing friendships. And then I moved to New York City right after I graduated. So I lived in New York for almost 13 years before coming back to the West Coast. So, but in New York, I produced a lot of theater festivals, off Broadway, off Broadway. In most of the things I did, I also produced, I also acted in. And I like to think that I made a stamp on the indie theater scene in New York. And then my last couple of years in New York City was heading more toward on camera, voiceovers, commercials, things like that. So I just followed the work that way. Podcasting is one of the things I did too. And so it kind of made sense, that natural progression to come to Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's so fun. I love hearing everyone's stories about their lives because it's just like, oh my gosh, everyone has such different like railroad story, like, you know what I'm sort of trying to say?
So everyone is so unique, even though we're all in this same business, but no two stories are the same. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can go to the same stops on this railroad that I'm creating, but you'll never get there the same exact way. Coming from a different spot, you can stop.
It's true because the business is all about relationships too. And so everyone has their unique sort of proximity of relationships in their life. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, what does the word canon mean to you?
Yes. I had to think about this one. So to me, it's sort of, it can be spoken or unspoken. This sort of rule, this idea of an official rule of what's in or maybe what's out.
Yeah.
I love I love the topic of your podcast. It's because it can be such an abstract as well as a really tangible thing. But of course, when you think of Canon, you think of like the all-encompassing breadth of someone's work, right?
Right.
I think of great works of art. I think of literature. In film, I think of like the Criterion Collection, for example. Like you have this anthology of films that someone somewhere said, this makes the list.
Yeah.
You know? And then like Shakespeare on my shelf back here, I have his first folio, and one might say like that's like the Shakespeare canon, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really interesting. Also, I wanted to throw this in. For 3 years in New York City, my husband and I, with our production company, Brooklyn Quarter, that produced Liza Anonymous, we also used to run a Dungeons and Dragons show. So we had we did over 100 episodes of one of our campaigns, and then I had one of 40 episodes. And if anyone listening doesn't necessarily know what that is, it's basically like live improvised storytelling in the like safe space of a fantasy world that is set out for you by the narrator or the dungeon master. And I was thinking about canon within that world, because quite often one character in one of our shows would say something like, you know, oh, well, did you know my father died in a fire? And it would be something that none of us knew. And then all of a sudden, our dungeon master would say, okay, well, that's canon now. Like that's in the books. Your character's father died in a fire. So now we all know that. And of course, we're all improvising. We're creating our backstories, some of us as we go along.
Yeah.
But the idea of something that is written and then that's what it is, it's really interesting.
So interesting. Like, I love that. And it's like, I love hate, you know, the relationship with canon. I think it can be useful and it can be harmful in all the different ways. But like, that is so interesting. Like someone said this off the cuff thing, and now in the realm of the world, that's true.
Exactly. And if you think about it though, too, many writers in their processes will write something that literally is inspired in the moment, and then it becomes the thing.
Yeah.
But I love that sort of complicated relationship you have with it. And I think that's why you created this podcast. So.
Yes, definitely. Everyone's got different things to say about it. And I feel like for anyone new who's listening, like everyone has a different relationships with specific shows. Like I've had people come on and say, I love this show. And then other people come on and say, this show has got to go. And I've said yes both times, because I'm not here to tell them like that their experience of that show is incorrect. You know?
Right. Oh,
like,
wow.
And so it's like, and they're beloved shows. Like it'll be like, yes. I love Phantom. And also I don't love Phantom, like, or
yes.
All of those things for so many different reasons. And it's just so important to like hear people out and also not say like, you're totally wrong. Get out.
Well, right. That's how we create empathy, is just by listening. Like that's a huge thing. I know, right? Like, it's who does that anymore?
Who listens to people? I do.
Seriously. Yeah. Well, we both do. So we're here. It's because we're Danielle's.
That's it. That's got to be. I've never met a Danielle who didn't listen to me.
There you go.
So within our canon, what is a show to you that has got to go?
So I wrestle with this a lot because I don't want to write off an entire show. What I think, I have one in mind. I'm going to talk about it, but I want to preface it by saying that although there are problematic aspects to this show, it happens to be a musical. I think that there could be redemption if there were revisions. And that's what I'll say. So, I have seen problematic shows try to fix themselves through casting choices and production choices. So, you know, I think that their art is up to interpretation, but the show that I want to bring to light is the musical Carousel. Has anyone talked about Carousel?
Not yet.
Okay. So It is, I saw it on Broadway starring Jessie Mueller, I think about 3 years ago, and it was absolutely beautiful. It's so sentimental, right? The songs are like just so You'll Never Walk Alone, just these major standards and classics of the last century. But it was disturbing to watch some scenes because there was very severe abuse and domestic violence. And so the thing that I think is interesting is the character of Billy. And hey, if you're listening and you don't know the show, maybe just check it out on Wikipedia or, watch a clip on YouTube. But the character of Billy, he actually dies, I think at the end of the first act. And he's in this place of where for him to go to heaven, he has to do right by his daughter who is back on earth. And that was really interesting to me. His daughter with his wife, whom he very much abused. And so what I think a part of the problem of that is that why is he, trying to be this amazing dad? Why couldn't he start with his wife, the one person that he first abused and everything? And so I actually looked up a quote Kelly O'Hara said. She played the role, I think, on its maybe like 10 years ago. On one of its Broadway iterations, she played the role of Julie. And her quote is, the domestic violence that Julie chooses to deal with is a real, existing, and very complicated thing. And exploring it is a part of healing it. Exploring it is an important part of healing it. And so I understand that prism of it all. But I think because it is such a classical musical, and I put that in air quotes, that I think if we want to carry it on, things need to change. And it can't just be, oh, well, let's leave this up to interpretation. Oh, no, we need to have trigger warnings. We need to have actual discussions about domestic violence and abuse, and more than just, oh, let's watch the character of Julie and how she chooses to stay with this man and why. No, we need to talk about it a little more. So that's the one that I thought of. So I don't know if it's gotta go all the way. I think that whoever puts it up next and gets the rights has the power to amend it. And I hope
if they have the power,
that's why I said, I hope they have the power to amend it. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Because there's so many sticky situations where the estate or whomever, right, you cannot change this musical.
Right. Of course. And so if that's the case, I think we need to wait until those people kick the bucket to do it again. And then we can change it.
Yeah. After 50 years after their death or whatever it is it takes. Exactly. By then, who's going to remember it?
I mean, I'm sure some people will, because I will. I'll be alive
in 150 years.
Oh, it's 150 years? I thought it was 50.
I don't remember.
Good call. Okay.
Somebody's is 100.
Je ne sais pas. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it's with that stuff, it's if you change it, does it then become a different musical? How much do you have to change for it to be something totally different?
And also, is that okay? Is that okay? This musical has been done so many times in a certain way. Why can't we change it? I mean, in Les Miserables, they have the Broadway production, and then they have the, university or the school production, which is more toned down in certain ways. So we can do those both at the same time. Okay.
So what rules here?
Yeah, I don't know. By the way, with Les Mis, it's one of my absolute favorites. And I think, I wonder if some people find it problematic. but I
Hasn't come up yet, I'll tell you.
Okay. Well, I have to say the first time I ever saw Les Mis was in a school university production, and it hit just as hard. It was so good. So don't knock it.
We love that. We love that. And we also talk about a lot is like how much beautiful music gets destroyed by like a horrible book.
That is very, very true. And I will say something. Can I say this little nugget?
Yeah.
So Leah McKendrick, who wrote my film, Liza Anonymous, she is the book writer for the new Grease prequel. It's called Summer Lovin'. And it's the Paramount Pictures new big musical that's going to be coming out. And she is the book writer.
That's fun.
And let me tell you, she will not let the audience down. So like that is and I'm like, that's such a saving grace to know that like one of my best friends is writing the book for like this beloved cherished thing, and I can trust her. We can all trust her. If you love Grease, there you go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How fun is that? I love when your friends are doing really cool things and you just get to be like cheering for them and then like hanging out with them and all of that.
Cheerleading friends is the best. I think it's like one of the keys to our business too. So
100%. Like the jealousy is not important. Like it's the cheering on of your friends. Like that's more than anything else. Like
absolutely.
If you go around being like angry or bitter or jealous of other people, I don't know that you're going to be doing too hot, my dude.
Right. And also that's actually really good information. If you find yourself in this industry and you find yourself comparing yourself or jealous and bitter, you might want to look and see if this is the right industry for you, because there's a lot of rejection and heartache and ebb and flow that comes in this. And so it's such a great, it's ripe for community and for coming together. But if you find that it's like eating you alive, just, take stock of that.
Yeah.
PSA from the Danielles.
We are here to give you all of the information. So awesome. So in the spirit of creating like a better community for the people to join in and feel seen and all of that wonderful stuff, what is your show that everyone should know about? What is the show that we should make canon?
Sure. So I really was stuck on this, and I thought about this show that my dear friend Ito Agayere was in at the Public Theater in New York City. And it's called Mlima's Tale. And it is about an elephant named Mlima, who is trapped in the international ivory market in Africa. And Lynn Nottage wrote the play. And there is an actor who plays Mlima in this like very physical, beautiful performance. And then my friend Ito I think she played like 3 different characters in the play. Really small cast. But a play like this it was so, it felt so universal, even though we have all these New Yorkers in a room. Everyone's hustling, living their lives, very metropolitan. And yet we all took, an hour and a half, 2 hours to sit and watch this play about an elephant in Africa, like about to lose his tusks and die, and it made, I know that the audience, I could feel that the audience, you could feel the palpable idea of surprise, almost like this surprise empathy that you're leaving with, of relating to this animal in this beautiful way. And it was really well done. And I just love Lynn Nottage. So I did one of her plays in college at Chapman. So I think she's great. But Yeah, I would love to see more female playwrights in the canon, more Black playwrights, more playwrights of color in the canon, I think overall.
Oh, definitely. And the sweet thing about this little elephant is that it's so different from, like, it's outside of everyone. Like, you're not an elephant, but you get to empathize with this situation and with this specific character. And it sort of brings us closer to the subject matter by not feeling like I am so not this thing. It's like, you know?
Yes. And so, yeah, you could have, someone, I've never visited Africa, but you could easily have people there from all different walks of life, not even able to grasp or understand, the grandeur of an elephant or what it is like in Africa, to all sit in a room together and like go through this journey, and also like have it fire off different things in your brain. Like it unlocks things. And I saw a statistic in the Los Angeles Times that did a study about empathy in live theater, and how like over the pandemic, without live theater, actually as a society, we became less empathetic.
Oh my God, I'm sure.
And yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, people are acting a fool out there.
Oh my God.
Like, did you hear about the airlines?
People like beating each other up. Yeah.
It's gone up by like 170%, or no, it's gone up by way more than that. Actually, it's gone up a magnanimous amount. So yeah. And it's like, wow, did we forget how to listen to each other? And so
yes,
I'm really glad that live theater is coming back.
Me too. Sorry to speak over you. I was just like, we're both talking at the same time.
That's what we do.
It is. It really is. Yeah, it definitely, like, people are, I feel like, a little more impatient because they've been in their own realm for so long, or just like a little more isolated. Even the people who didn't take it seriously, they didn't see the people who did take it seriously, so they saw less people. That
is very true. I hadn't thought about that. That's very true.
And so then the tolerances have gone down for that dynamic, everyone being like, am I being judged? Are you judging me for whichever thing that I am doing or not doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Everybody relax. I worked at Starbucks for like 6 months until I decided, like, not for me. Love coffee, love people, but some people are just mean.
It's true. And especially they're walking in. I worked at Starbucks in college, and they're walking in, and you're the key to their happiness. You've got the caffeine. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why they're not nicer, but
it's because they, like, I don't know, maybe because they haven't had it yet, or if you mess it up, you've really messed it up, and then you've ruined their whole day. It's like your day is like 500 cups of coffee in front of you going out the window or going out to the people, and theirs is walk in, grab coffee, and leave. Yes. So in the scope of their life, this is a bigger moment, and in the scope of your life, it's 1 in 100.
That is so true. I never thought about that.
I mean, I love being on bar and making the coffee. Oh, so fun.
That was my favorite.
So fun. I like talking to people.
Cocktails. I love crafting.
Oh, yes, me too. I'm always the drink maker of like my family and also my friends. Like if we're having drinks, I'm making something tasty. But like, yeah. And in the Starbucks realm, I was very like, I had done a coffee gig like before once. And so was thrown into the fire at this little hut because we were severely understaffed, and the owner made us work for like 10 hours with like an hour-long break in the middle. Like that was the schedule. And I only worked 2 days a week at this job. So like my training week, someone was there with me. And then the next week I was by myself.
Oh my gosh.
At like 5 a.m. in Seattle, like at this little drive-through. And so I learned how to make drinks really fast. Coffee. Yeah. So I learned how to make drinks really fast. And I was very like, I loved it because like a couple of the regulars were like, you made my drink the other day on my first day. And it was my favorite latte I've ever had. And I was just like,
ding,
hair flip. I was like, oh, okay.
That's when you know it's a natural you have a natural talent.
Ego boost immediately. What was the name of that show again?
Malima's Tale,
Malima's Tale.
MLIMA
Malima's
apostrophe STALE.
Cute. Oh my God, I would have loved to see that.
Oh my gosh. I hope it comes places.
Goes places and does things. How do you feel? Are you connected to like any of the Broadway stuff happening right now, or are you excited for like things coming back or anything like that?
Oh, I'm very excited for things coming back. I saw that Sarah Bareilles is going to be in Waitress.
Yes, I saw that too.
Exciting. And I got to see it, but I didn't see her in it, unfortunately. And
who
yeah,
was who was in the cast when you saw Waitress?
I forgot her name. Oh my gosh, let me really quickly see if I can find it. Let me see. I think her name is Nicolette Robinson.
Oh, sweet.
I believe that is the actress that I saw.
Nice.
And she was delightful. And
that.
yeah, and then I have a couple of friends that are like legendary tap dancers on Broadway that have been in like After Midnight and Hello Dolly and Shuffle Along. And one of my very good friends, Philip Atmore, shout out to Philip. He, I think, is making his way back. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything, but hey, Philip, pretty excited for you. And then and then I know I'm very excited to see one other play in particular. It's a Teresa Rebeck play that another one of my dear friends is in. And I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to say anything about that.
Wow.
So stay tuned. Yeah. So there are a lot of things, plays and musicals I'm really excited about. And I did hear that all of the plays on Broadway are by Black playwrights.
That's true.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't this amazing?
So good.
So one of them is actually Passover by Antoinette Nwandu. If you haven't seen it in any form, it is one of the most stunning pieces of theater I've ever seen.
Amazing.
And they literally just started rehearsals like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I follow Antoinette on Instagram and all of the stuff. And so I've been keeping up with that. We talk about it on the pod quite often. If you're listening, hey. Hey. She does follow my podcast Instagram. So that's
awesome.
But I'm very excited about that. I would literally travel across the country to go see that. If I have time, I will be like, I feel like I'm going to be better at going to see shows now. Like I was not very good at it before because I was like stressed out, hustling or doing whatever I was quote unquote hustling, but like, we're just busy, you know. I had a night job as well. So I was like, dang, I can't go to see that show because I'm literally working till 11 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Like, bummer.
Yeah. It's okay. And now you can reassess everything and you're coming out of the pandemic and you get to choose how to spend your time. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm stoked on everything coming back because we've been so like not deprived, but like sort of deprived of the live theater.
We straight up have. You're allowed to say
it. Okay, good. Because I'm like, I'm deprived. No, it's just like we haven't had a theater.
Yeah.
They haven't let us be in rooms. And now hopefully we can be healthy and safe in those rooms. So that's the best part. So do you have any shows happening around you or wherever that you would like to promote today?
Sure. So for shows, I actually am very late to the party, but I just watched the first 2 seasons of Dead to Me with Christina Applegate and Lisa Martinelli. Is that her last name? Oh no. I'm like Martinelli's apple cider.
Delicious. Number
1. Oh my gosh. Her last name is Cardinelli. There we go.
It is so close.
But listen, I hope she loves apple cider. And these two actresses are just acting their faces off in this TV show. It's so great. So there's 2 seasons out, and then a 3rd season and final season will be coming. Nice. And they're also both God, I called her Lisa. It's Linda Cardinelli.
There it is.
Linda and Christina Applegate, they are also producers. So they're just like badass women producing, acting their faces off in this really like dramatic, but very interesting television show. So yeah, so that's kind of been the latest thing I've been watching. And I recommend it, especially, hey, I watched the whole thing when I was sick on the couch. It was perfect.
Amazing.
So yeah. Have you not seen it?
I haven't.
Okay.
Which platform is it on?
I believe it is on Netflix.
Nice. Yeah. Isn't it weird how platforms are just becoming like channels? And then
yes,
I'm like, you changed to a thing that we were already doing, but now you're charging separately from our cable company. Like,
right. And so what does that mean? Yeah.
Like this is a vicious circle that we have begun.
Right. And now people aren't getting cable, and
no,
we'll see what happens. All I do know is that it's sort of like it's a renaissance of art again. Like all of
television creation
and television.
Yeah. It's going through the roofs. It's everywhere. I want to do it. All of it. I want to play.
Yes. Yes.
We love it. So do you have any personal work that you would like to promote today?
Sure. Yes. As we chatted a little bit about before, my short film that I produce and star in, Liza Anonymous, just premiered at Tribeca, and you can actually watch it again on the Indie Shorts website. So the Indie Shorts Film Festival is associated with the Heartland Theater Festival. Sorry, not theater, film. I had theater on the mind.
Yep.
The Heartland Film Festival in Indianapolis. And Liza will be there available for, I think, about a week to watch. And I believe if you buy like a shorts pass, I think for like $15 or something, you can watch all the shorts involved, which I highly recommend. Some of the things that I got to watch at Tribeca just absolutely blew my mind. The art that came out of the pandemic was astounding. And so, yeah, will be available. I believe it's heartlandfilm.org is the website. So people can watch it there. And you can also follow along with the film on LizaAnonymousFilm.com.
Nice. Okay, everyone go there and follow along.
Go there. And I guess too, really quickly, I should say what the movie's about.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
In case people are like, why do I want to watch this? Essentially, the very short summary is it's about a lonely millennial named Liza, played by me, who becomes addicted to support groups, and she creates a different persona to fit into each group. And her whole charade crumbles, and she's forced to get to the root of her unique addiction and find her true identity. And it leads her on a theatrical journey. And I think it's really been resonating with people in the idea of isolation and what it looks like to find your community and find your village. So yeah.
Oh, that sounds fun. Everyone go watch it. And my very last and sneaky question for the day, Danielle, is this. Who would you like to see on this podcast?
Oh,
who should I invite?
Sneaky. I love this question because I love humans and connecting humans. I think you should interview my dear friend, Lauren Chavez Myers. She also went to Chapman. I'm going to bring you all the Chapman people. And she is someone who I have always trusted with taste when it comes to theater and film.
Nice.
And I think she'd really be intrigued by these questions. She is an actress and a producer. She's a powerhouse. And yeah, I'm going to go with Lauren. I'm going to go with Lauren Chavez Myers.
Excellent. If you have any more ideas when we get off, you can be like, here's a list of people. Oh my
yes.
God. I love a list of people because then I go, hello, my name is Danielle.
It's easy. It's so easy. Absolutely. So,
oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much for having me. This has been really, really lovely.
Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. Like, I so appreciate you being down to play and chat and all of that stuff and just meet over the Zoom.
Yes, this is how we do it. And it
Yep.
makes it more accessible. You get to talk to more people this way.
Exactly. Ding, ding, ding. Well, thank you so much for being here. And thank you to everyone who is listening. Please give us a share, a like, a follow. I don't know, subscribe, do whatever you're supposed to do on the platform that you are on. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.